Continuing with her legacy, this year's Good Friday marks exactly 3 years since the death of Winnie Madikizela-Mandela. The former First Lady and struggle icon died at the age of 81. She held numerous positions in the ANC, including the president of the Women's League and a member of the NEC. In remembrance of her passing, we take a look back at her illustrious life. Nomzamo Winifred Zangiwe Madikizela was born on the 26th of September 1936 in the village of Mbongweni near Mbizana in the Eastern Cape. She was the fifth of 9 children. Her father, Columbus, a local chief and a history teacher. Her mother, Nomatamsanga, a science teacher.
I was brought up in our little homestead. My father was a chief and I was his little princess, and I was taught to be totally independent.
In 1953, at the age of 17, she moved to Johannesburg. She completed a qualification in social work, finishing top of her class. She accepted a position at Baragwanath Hospital, becoming the first qualified black medical social worker there. She shared a hospital dormitory with Adelaide Tsukudu, who later married ANC President Oliver Tambo. Through this friendship, she met Nelson Mandela. She was just 22. He was a famous anti-apartheid lawyer and activist, 18 years older than her. They married in June 1958, but they never had much time together.
My husband has been fighting for the liberation of the African people, for the working harmoniously of all the racial groups in this country.
I was this brand new bride. He was in the treason trial. Soon after that, he was incarcerated for the state of emergency, which lasted months and months. Then he came out of the state of, I used to visit him in prison, take him food.
A few months after they married, Madikizela-Mandela was imprisoned along with Albertina Sisulu and hundreds of other women for protesting against pass laws. She was pregnant at the time and nearly miscarried. But mother and unborn child survived the 2-week ordeal thanks to Sisulu's nursing skills. In February 1959, Winnie and Nelson's first daughter, Zenani, was born. Their second daughter, Zinziswa, was born in 1960. On the 5th of August 1961, Nelson Mandela was arrested in Harwich, KwaZulu-Natal. The couple had been married for just over 3 years.
I was the most unmarried married woman because we really never lived together. Even to this day, a parent like me still feels that guilt. You decide to choose between the nation and your young children, and it was a very difficult choice to make.
At the Rivonia trial, Mandela was sentenced to life in prison for conspiracy to overthrow the apartheid government. He would spend 27 years behind bars, much of it on Robben Island. A mother of 2, Madikizela-Mandela faced regular police harassment, detention and abuse.
The police harassed her tremendously. She had a very difficult time, more harassed than any of us were. I mean, we were banned, we were house arrested, she was banished, she was banned, just about everything happened to Winnie.
In 1969, police apprehended her in the middle of the night in front of her 2 young daughters.
12th of May, when Winnie was arrested, 1969, was a time in which the notorious Section 6 of the Terrorism Act had come into place, where people could be held indefinitely.
In 1977, she was banished to the tiny town of Brandfort in the Free State. She would spend nearly a decade there, returning to Soweto in 1986. It was at the height of P.W. Bertha's state of emergency. In April 1986, she called for suspected ANC traitors to be killed.
With our necklaces, we shall liberate this country.
Then, at the end of 1988, the Mandela United Football Club was implicated in the death of 14-year-old activist Stompie Seebey. He was found murdered near Madikizela-Mandela's home after being falsely accused of being a police informant. Witnesses implicated Madikizela-Mandela. Jerry Richardson, who coached the Mandela United football team, was found guilty of the murder and Madikizela-Mandela convicted of kidnapping. Former Police Commissioner George Fivers has reiterated this week what he told the Truth and Reconciliation Commission.
They seriously tried their level best to unravel the situation and to make sense out of all these allegations that Winnie was responsible, and they never made a dent into that. I'm convinced Winnie was not responsible for the murder of Stompie Seebey.
In 1990, Nelson Mandela was released from prison, Madikizela-Mandela by his side. But 27 years apart had taken its toll.
To me, never having lived with him, never having known what marriage was all about, and even when he came out of prison, it was worse than when he went to prison.
In 1992, they separated.
My love for her remains undiminished. However, in view of the tensions that have arisen owing to differences between ourselves in a number of issues in recent months, we have mutually agreed that a separation would be best for each one of us.
Madikizela-Mandela was elected president of the ANC Women's League in 1993 and held that position for a decade. She was also a long-standing member of parliament in the National Assembly. The couple officially divorced in 1996, though she remained close to Mandela in his last days. In her later years, she spent time with her family, and her public appearances continued to draw great interest. On Monday, the 2nd of April 2018, at the age of 81, Nomzamo Winnie Madikizela-Mandela passed away in a Johannesburg hospital.
We tend to wake up to realize who are the people who have made us as a nation. People who sacrifice so much for us. We tend only to wake up and to recognize them when they leave.
Why some of us are strong? It is because we learned from Umamwini.
We have lost a beauty. We have lost the hurricane that is fearless and that could speak truth to power.
We must have permission to cry because it's also healing to cry. We have lost a great person.
Together as women, standing together, anything is possible. Umama did not die, but she did multiply.